What's up, everybody? Welcome to a new video. In today's video, we're actually going to be reviewing another email that Teepublic has sent me. Now, I've actually been having some communication with Teepublic behind the scenes, and I've been asking them certain questions. I've been, wanting to learn more about them, all these different things, and I've actually signed up to their newsletter in the process. So I'm actually receiving these emails from Teepublic, through the sign-up process. And you guys know when you create an account on these new platforms, they say, hey, do you want to sign up for our newsletter? And, most of the time, I think 99% of the time, I specifically make sure I do not sign up for the newsletter because I don't want any more spam in my email. It's hard enough as it is. But I guess this time I forgot to click on that. And to be 100% honest, this is better than what I expected. And they're giving us these tips consistently. I mean, there's been a few emails where they're always giving out tips, they're always reaching out. And I think honestly, we look over the information that they give us in these tips, but to be honest, they're actually pretty good. Now, let's go ahead and read this email and let's go ahead and get into it. So, I think the subject was like the number one success tip or something like that, or that's the thing that caught my attention. I don't know if that was the subject. That might have been the first line through the email. You guys know when you get an email, you could see the little subject, or you could see a little a summary of what it says or whatever. That caught my attention, and it was this line right here. And so I figured I gotta look at this email. What is it? What is it? So it says hey, and then the name of my store. It says my demo store, that is. It says, hope you're doing well today. I want to give you my number one tip for success on Teepublic. It says, upload more art. And it says it actually all in bold. Now, we found our best-selling designers have something in common, and they add all of their art to their stores immediately. Artists who upload 25 plus designs in their first 30 days consistently make 5 times more sales than those with fewer. I want to be part of that group. I want you to be part of that group. Now, here's the thing, guys. You guys know me. I feel so passionately about uploading as much as you possibly can, to the point where not only do I do it, but I actually created a course where I show publicly how to do it. You guys know the Redbubble POD design course I've showed here, autopilotpassiveincome.com. Not only did I show how to create those designs, how to get them tagged, but how to do it without spending too much time doing the niche research, doing all that. In fact, the core principles of that specific course were 3 core principles: speed and efficiency, quality, and productivity. And finally, productivity is that end result, right? A lot of the times I say about different print-on-demand strategies, it's almost like you're running in place sometimes. You're working, but you're not seeing results out of it. And that's why I always say with the designs that we create, they have to be relatively quick. When we're pumping out designs, it's not good enough to create 4 or 5 designs and think that that's going to be our portfolio for our business. We're going to need hundreds of designs. That's the reality. And I know it might be sad reality. I know it might be harsh truth. But the reality is, if you want to walk away with a significant amount of income from Teepublic, from Redbubble, from any of these platforms, the reality is that there's a lot of competition and you're a needle in a haystack. So the more work that you add to your profile, the more stuff that you add to your account, the better chance you're going to have at winning in terms of, succeeding in terms of sales. It's actually the exact same reason. If you look at merch by Amazon, there's this tier process where you move up the tiers, right? You get tier 5, then tier 10, 20, etc., right? All the way up to tier 500, then, 10,000, and sometimes even tier 100,000, right? And so the people at tier 100,000, the reason why they got to that point is not only are they making a lot of designs, but they're selling a lot of designs. But notice, you don't sell a lot of designs until you make a lot of designs. The reality is that one t-shirt design is probably not going to pay your way to success, right? You're probably not going to make millions of dollars off one design, being that you get paid just a few dollars for each design that sells, right? You get a few dollars. That's if you sell a t-shirt. If you're selling a sticker or something else, you might even get less. So it's unrealistic to think, if we have 60 designs, 100 designs, 40 designs, that's actually going to get us to success. So Teepublic hammers this idea in, and they specifically say to us that artists who create over 25 designs in the first month have the highest chance of success. In fact, they sell 5 times more than the average seller. Well, why do you think that is? I don't think it's an algorithmic perspective. When I say algorithmic, I don't think the algorithm favors somebody. They say, okay, did this person create 25 in the first month? Did this person do it? Okay, let's push this person's design over somebody else's. I don't think that's the case, guys. What I think is the case is that Teepublic studies behavior, right? In any psychological study, what we actually try to figure out is why people do certain things or why the certain result happened, right? And there are 2 different kinds of studying methods. There's associative and correlative. And really what that means is that you have certain solutions, but we can't really define or point out why. We can only have association. So for example, okay, let's say we had a result that shows people tend to go out less when it's raining. We can't 100% prove that it is because of the rain and it creates unfavorable conditions, right? If we just perform a study where we just see, the rates of how people go out during the days that it's raining versus the days that the sun is shining, we can't exactly prove it. It's not like we asked people or we did a survey or anything like that. So in that case, it is an associative kind of study, or the method of that how we got our results. The data is associative, meaning that there's a likelihood that when it rains, less people go out. And there's also an associative likelihood. There's a high likelihood that when the sun goes out, people are out more. We can't for sure guarantee it. We can't say that for sure that this happens because of XYZ reason. But in certain scenarios, there are situations where in certain psychological studies, we can go ahead and correlate data, meaning we can prove without a shadow of a doubt that XYZ happens as a result of so-and-so, right? And we do this by seeing the statistical significance. So if you guys have taken stats classes before, things like that, there's a certain methodology to figure out that if there is a true correlation, the mathematical aspect to it has to have statistical significance, meaning the number has to be very, very apparent that whatever system is leads to a certain result, right? So for example, if we have a survey and we put out a survey to, let's say, a random sample, meaning a random sample of hundreds of people, and we go to these hundreds of people and we interview them and we say, why do you choose not to go out when it's raining? And they say, well, it's because it's raining and I don't want to go out. That's the reason why. And let's say 100 out of the let's say 150 people that were interviewed say, because it's raining, I don't like to go out when it's raining, I don't like to get wet, I think it's dangerous, etc., for any random reason, right? But they actually verify that they don't like to go out because it's raining. Well, then in that case, the solution of 100 out of 150 is considered statistically significant in relation to a correlation. So we can indeed correlate that people don't want to go out during it's raining. The whole point of this is that Teepublic is not favoring you necessarily if you create 25 designs in your first 30 days, but it is associative data, meaning we can predict a high likelihood that typically if you're an artist that happens to create 25 or more designs in your first 30 days, you're more likely to get more sales. Why is that? It's because you're typically going to create more designs. Now, if you notice here in the specific email, Teepublic doesn't discourage their users. They don't say, but listen, guys, you're going to have to upload more and more. But they say this because they know that this is an internal dialogue within the individual. The reality is picture yourself, okay? And picture you consume a lot of content online, and all this content is saying to you the same thing. And they're saying to you, get to a certain amount uploaded or more to gain success. Well, what's going to happen is you're going to be more inclined to get to that certain level, right? And out of the group of people that actually get to that certain level in terms of designs and sales and things like that, you might be one of those people that experience the positive end on that. And what's going to happen is because you listen to that first initial piece of advice, right? Teepublic, what they might do is, and I'm not really sure because I'm not subscribed to their newsletter from before, but now I am, is they might send you letters after those 30 days encouraging you to keep uploading more. And now what happens is you're starting to develop a habit of just consistently uploading without having necessarily to be told to do so. So what does this do for the platform? Well, it creates a platform that is a self-fueling economy. If you look at Teepublic, there are going to be designers on Teepublic, right, who are going to design by themselves. They don't need advice. They don't need people to tell them, hey, go do it. They don't need some sort of encouragement. They just get the job done. Well, there are also people on Teepublic and Redbubble and all these other platforms who don't do that. Maybe they create an account once, they create 2-3 designs, and they're finished. They gassed out for whatever reason. Maybe they're busy, maybe they have things going on, maybe they have some personal experiences, some personal things stopping them, but also maybe they're, just not going to feel like doing it. Maybe they have other things that they're worried about. Well, the case is that I don't think, like I said, Teepublic favors you for creating those special 25 designs in the first 30 days, but I think it's the habits, it's the personality that comes with doing that. A person who has a high likelihood of creating those 25 designs in 30 days is probably more likely to keep consistently uploading. I think we can all agree on that. And if they're keep consistently uploading, then they're going to keep expanding the catalog. And if you actually read here, it says here, and they're referring to a certain artist on Teepublic. He says, expanding my catalog on Teepublic has worked wonders for my sales. Now, no wonder why. I've been saying this, guys, for forever now, really. And I've been saying the one thing that everybody can do here, without paying extra for softwares or anything like that, or courses, and don't get me wrong, I do have a course on how to actually do it efficiently, how to do it quickly, and how to do it effectively. But the one thing that everybody can do is design more. That's the one thing you can do. Like, I get questions all the time, hey, what do I do to get my first sale? What do I do to get my first sale? Especially when I was doing these Redbubble reviews. If you guys are familiar, you go back to my videos, I would do these Redbubble shop review videos, and I would try to give advice. But it seemed like 9 times out of 10, the first piece of advice that I could always give to people is design more. Work more on your designs. Now, the problem is that this is not a fail-proof method, meaning there are some people who will keep designing, but they'll lack encouragement or they'll get discouraged because they find that their designing is just not paying off. And that's why I say, guys, that it's not just about designing. It's not just about creating more designs. Because if you look at the reality of sales is that the first thing that has to happen is somebody has to discover your piece of art first. So for example, on Redbubble, somebody types up a keyword, for example, in the search, or they find your product through Google, right? When they find your product, if your product is attractive enough, then you'll get the sale. And if it's seen, assuming, right? But let's say you have the most attractive design ever, but it's not being seen by anybody. When are you going to get a sale? The answer is never. You're never going to get a sale. So this is why, like I said, I created these 2 courses. The Redbubble tagging course was specifically designed for people who are struggling with getting their design seen. If you have a problem with getting your design seen, if there are people who are for some reason just not seeing your designs, your traffic is low, you have low amounts of traffic, right? Then you're going to need to work on your tagging. You're going to need to work on your studying the algorithms. You're going to need to work on keyword research. You're going to need to work on getting Google to pick up your designs or getting some Google traffic, right? That's one aspect. Then you're going to have to actually work on the quality of your designs. Well, there's a third aspect to all of this. Other than getting seen and other than creating really attractive designs, there's another aspect of this, and it's the quantity of that you do all this in, the intensity, right? It's not good enough to just create one design that's beautifully tagged, beautifully designed, because that one design is not going to generate enough sales. Remember what we said from the beginning. These are the 3 core tenets, guys, to print-on-demand success every single time. And I'm actually going to create a separate video on this in the future. But the 3 core tenets are, number 1, getting seen. Getting seen on whatever platform you're on. So getting the traffic. How do you get the traffic? Well, if we're talking about Teepublic and we're talking about Redbubble, well, then it's actually kind of simple. It has to do with tagging. We have a course for that. The link will be in the first comment. I've talked about the course before. You guys know all about the course, right? That's getting seen, right? And getting seen doesn't mean you get a sale, which moves us to the second core tenant, which is the design quality, right? The second core tenant has to do with your design quality. Now, imagine we have, like I said, one design or two designs or three designs or even 10 designs that are perfectly tagged. They're getting tons of traffic every day. You're getting sales on them. Ask yourself this, even if they're good looking, how many sales can you realistically get to the point to where you're doing well? Well, let's think about it this way. The profit margin for each design, $3, $4, $5, let's just say $5 at maximum. Let's just say $5 for each t-shirt you sell, okay? Of course, you could sell a duvet cover. Of course, you could sell things that are more expensive. But let's just say $5, okay? Majority of people aren't selling those products anyway. Let's just say $5, okay? Well, $5, let's say you sell 10 of them, 20 of them, right? Even then, when you're selling 20, you're really not making enough to where you really want to be. I mean, let's be honest. Nobody gets into a new full-time income or whatever you want to call it for $3,000 a month. Now, don't get me wrong. That will change a lot of people's lives. But I'm sure if people want to get into a business, they want to go all the way with it. Isn't that fair to say? Now, don't get me wrong. Let's not even fool ourselves. The reality of that happening is slim to none, most likely none. I mean, I can't think of a single design that I've created that gets me 20 sales a day. It's never happened before. Every day. This never happened. Like I said, now there are days where I've got 17, 15, 18 sales in one day, but they were scattered across different designs on different products. So it's not like it was from one design. Now, the one time that I did get a really, really large boost in sales for a few products was, and I've already spoken about this, but during the whole Ukraine thing, when I already had designs way before the whole Ukraine-Russia issue, it was like a year or two before, not a year or two, about a year before, a little more than a year, had them before just sitting there, and then because they were sitting there, people were already searching for them, and the sales very quickly increased, and then they slowly dropped off because, there were a lot of people that entered the market at that time. But the point is that never did it really happen for me in that kind of way where I'm having 20 sales a day, 15 sales, etc. That really is, unrealistic. So even if we were to sit here and say, well, that would be great to get a design that sells 15, 20 a day, it's not going to happen. Let's just be honest. It's not going to happen. So really what the solution is, and guys, by the way, take it with a grain of salt when I say it's not going to happen. Does it happen? Yes. For maybe 2 or 3 people out of 800-something thousand, out of 900-something thousand. What's the chance that you're going to be that one person out of 900-something thousand people? The answer, it's not realistic, right? But so what's the solution to all this anyway? For the common folk, for the common person? Well, it's to do a massive amount of designs. Now, this is the type of thing that draws people away now. When they hear this, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to be part of it. They don't want to have to do a lot of work. But I'm here to tell you, there's probably no other way. Other than tagging and titling with perfection, yes. The one thing that people don't talk about is the amount of work that you're actually going to have to do. Maybe because it's already assumed, I'm really not sure why, but it's a huge part of the aspect. And this is why, like I said, in the design course, I specifically went over the efficiency side of it. Something that I never want to get caught up in doing is spending hours and hours and hours doing work that could take me minutes to do. In fact, in the course, in the POD design course, I specifically showed me creating 60 designs with no market research needed within seconds. And they were in different quote-unquote niches. And I've showed how to do this. Like I said, it's in the course. The reason why I did it that specific way, that method of designing, was because I didn't want to get stuck in the loop. I did not want to get stuck in the mud, jogging in place, whatever you want to call it. When you're working super, super hard on a certain design, but that design doesn't pay off. And the reality is mathematically, guys, one design is not going to pay off. 2 designs, 10 designs, 60 designs, 400 designs is not going to change your life. It's really not. That's the reality, guys, of the situation. So if you're looking at your sales account right now and you're looking, you got to be able to diagnose what the problem is. The first thing is you look at your analytics. You say, okay, what are my analytics? Am I getting at least 1,000 visits a day? If you're not getting at least 1,000 visits a day, I could tell you guys, you're probably not making over 10 sales a day. That's the reality. If you're not making over 1,000 visits a day on Redbubble, the answer is you're probably not making over 10 sales a day. Okay? The reason why I say that is because if we work through mathematics, I'm seeing people's conversion rates on Redbubble go as low as 0.5%. 0.5% conversion rate, sometimes even less than that. Now, you can increase that conversion rate with the way you're designing. That's a completely different conversation for a different day. But these are some serious things that we got to talk about because there's a false narrative that's being spread. I don't know through what, and I don't know from what, but people are just assuming that print on demand is easy because you just put a picture on a t-shirt. Well, I could tell you, compared to all other businesses, print on demand is pretty easy. But it doesn't mean you're going to get rich quick by any means. So with that being said, guys, take the core tenets into consideration. The first core tenet is having your designs become seen in the marketplace. That means you should work on your tagging. You should work on your titling. If you need help with that, the course is available to you. You guys know that we're actually consistently uploading the course. Now, we were in the very beginning when the course didn't have that much content. We were always updating the course every week, twice a week, whatever. We got to the point where we have now over 34 videos on the platform. And the price of the course is $39.99. Now, I've said the more I upload content to the course, the more expensive it's going to be. Okay? It's $39.99 right now. I don't know when's the next time I'm going to increase the price. I don't know if I even feel comfortable doing that. I don't know if I will. But that is a promise that I made, and we actually kept that promise. The price started at $29.99. And the more content we added, the more, course, the more expensive it got, just in reflection to its value, right? For a fair price. With that being said, if you guys are familiar, all the curriculum is listed out here, aside from the tagger videos and things like that. So that's listed out here, okay? So if you ever need to see, if you're not sure whether it's the right decision for you or not, it's right here in the page. You guys can go and head over there. Now, with that being said, that's one core tenet. The second core tenet, as we said, was the designing, right? Was creating a good design that shows up, that you don't have to spend hours and hours and hours doing niche research for, right? The one thing that I don't like about doing print on demand is people get stuck in the minutia of niche research. Niche research should only take a few seconds. It really shouldn't take that long. I would much rather you spend much more time on the tagging process, the titling, or even the designing than the niche research, honestly. Because the niche research does not take long at all, at least in my opinion, with methods that I'm using. You might find other people that spend hours and hours doing niche research, whatever floats their boat. But for me, that's not my style, that's not my game, and I hate doing that. And so that's why I specifically said, okay, if I'm going to design, I need a system. And that system is where I take things step by step, but I do it quickly and efficiently, okay? And what that does now is that leads me into the third core tenet, which means I can do more of that. I can produce more, which, like I said, I've shown this all in the design course as well. So when we mix all these together, the three core tenets of being seen, creating good designs that are tagged optimally, that are not only being seen but being enjoyed by people who are seeing them and have a genuine desire in people or evoke a genuine desire. But now when we add scale to that by doing this multiple times over and over and over across many designs, now what we're doing is we're increasing our chances of success. So we have those three core tenets and we can do this, right? And anybody can do this. You don't need to take a course to do this. Now, don't get me wrong, courses do speed up the game if that's something you're interested in, but you don't need necessarily a course to do this. Now, with that being said, this whole process, right? This whole process I had to experience through getting down deep and dirty into the game. I'm talking full-on monk mode. I've talked about this before, and I know there are people who requested a video on this, but I have a poster here of my sales chart back in 2020 to 2021. And I started in December of 2020 on Redbubble. Seriously started, not like playing around. And the first month went great. The next month went better. And then it dipped off for a while. There was a period of time where I just thought, the money's going to rise by itself. It's going to rise by itself. And then I realized that I was doing something wrong. And so I sat back and I started focusing now, and I went quote-unquote monk mode. I call it monk mode because I lived like a monk for that period of time. Went 2 months sitting back, and I focused, okay, what can I do to shoot this stuff through the moon? And that's exactly what I did, right? And so I took those habits and I put them in everything else that I do now when it comes down to Redbubble. And those were the core tenets essentially came to be, right? So that is what it is. But I figured that this Teepublic email kind of motivated me, inspired me to make this video because, yeah, guys, there are no secrets to Redbubble success. There are no secrets to Teepublic success. There are no secrets, point blank, period. You create your designs, you post, but you have to do it at a scale, at a large amount. The reality is it's unlikely that one design is going to be, your Hail Mary, it's going to be your Holy Grail. It's unlikely. And that's just the reality of 2022. I mean, maybe there's a new platform that might come out that might happen for a few people, but you got to realize that those are the top 0.01%. The reality is that for a majority of us, we'll never reach that top 1.1%. Now, is that sad? No. Should you quit from that? No. That's just part of the game, right? That's just part of the game. But I think that the one thing you shouldn't do is quit on the game just because you're not part of that 1%. And you got to realize the reality. And the reality is, and for some people this was saddened them, and for other people they're okay with this, and they made peace with this, is that, yeah, it's going to take an immense amount of work to get immense amount of results. But honestly, guys, should we look at it any other way? Should we be sad about that, really? I don't think so, because at the end of the day, what out there doesn't take immense amount of work to get what you want to get in life? What out there doesn't? I mean, maybe you guys can list it. I mean, other than really cryptocurrency, stocks, I can't think of something else that can do that for you. I really can't. You guys let me know, all right? I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out. Bye.